Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Isaac,
And this is your boy Bryce.
and we are Brothers on Tennis. And folks, we've made it to the second week of the French Open Roland Garros 2023 championships. Bryce, it has been a very, very, very interesting tournament, wouldn't you say?
It has been, but you know what? I want to give us kudos because on our preview show,
Hey,
we stated that the men's draw looked much more even, like our predictions were much more to form, and that the women's draw was like all over the place, hot mess type stuff, right? And that is what it's been like after the first week, right?
it definitely has been. I mean, it has been a wild ride to say the least. And we will definitely be getting into that, but we better get to who's paying the bills. And
Well,
folks, that would be what? Paul S. Haberman. Yes, it would. So, folks, this episode of Brothers on Tennis is being brought to you by the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Are you a sports enthusiast in need of legal representation? Look no further than the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Paul S. Haberman is not just an experienced attorney, but also a longtime lecturer on sports law related matters. He's currently presenting Everyday Sports Law, a continuing legal education lecture for attorneys in sports and entertainment law, was named to the Super Lawyers New York Metro Area Rising Stars list for 3 consecutive years and has been a valuable resource for sports professionals for over 15 years.
in fact, Paul S. Haberman once managed a world level junior welterweight boxer and former Olympian. He has represented 5 current or former world champions in boxing and MMA and has had at least 50 to 60 other clients involved in sport. From contract law to healthcare law and intellectual property law, Paul S. Haberman covers it all. Don't let legal issues hold you back from achieving your goals. Call the law offices of Paul S. Haberman today at 201 564 0590 to schedule a consultation. That's 201 564 0590. And for those in the back, it's 201 564 0590. Let Paul S. Haberman fight for you both in and out of the ring.
Ding ding. That's right, y'all. So yes, yes. So Bryce, we are in the middle of the week for the French Open Roland Garros, man. Dude, like you said, things have been crazy on the ladies' side. Guys have been kind of true to form. So what have been your thoughts? What have been some surprises that have come about for you?
Well, I think we have to start with the first round where
Woo.
Medvedev, I mean, coming off of
Yeah.
winning the Italian Open and playing Seabolt Will, I
Yeah.
mean, who, by the way, hadn't done nothing in a minute,
At all. At all. Because
right?
remember, we've talked about him a very, very long time ago as one of those who he might be somebody to look out for because his game is solid. He's got strong strokes. But you could tell he crazy. You could tell.
Yes.
And we knew
And
that.
yes, and he's had some off-court drama too that
Yes,
make you want to
yes.
raise an eyebrow. So, um, yeah, I was really surprised that Medvedev just couldn't get over the hump with him because I feel like if Medvedev had made it out of that match,
Yep.
he probably would have had his legs under him. But
Oh
that
yeah.
was probably the biggest surprise to me thus far.
Yeah, that'd be you and me both, considering that I picked him to win. So
Well,
so yeah, yeah, that was definitely a shock for me, but at the same time, that's sport, man. It's like you lace them up and you get after it, and on that particular day, he just unfortunately could not get over that final hurdle. So
can
he'll
I
be
give you
back though.
one? Can I give you one more?
Yeah, man.
Um, on the ladies' side, the biggest surprise for me actually is not a loss, but someone who is still in the tournament,
Yeah.
and that would be Mama Svitolina,
Yes.
because who did not consider her a quarterfinalist
No.
You
No,
know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying, sir. Yes.
So shout out to Elena for repping for the Ukraine, right?
Yes, yes. She's been putting in work. I mean, she got out there and, first couple tournaments that she had, it was a little bit of a struggle. But man, has she found her form in this Roland Garros championships, man. I mean, to be able to make it to the quarterfinals in your first Grand Slam back after having a child? Come on now.
Yes,
Come on now.
absolutely.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
So those were my two biggest surprises thus far.
I'm right there with you, my man. That was a big one. What Daniil is doing again. What I mean, him going out and as well as what Svitolina has done. I've been really, really, really happy to see her, standing in the winning circle. And I tell you what, that match that Gael Monfils had against Sebastian Baez.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Do you know what I did, Isaac? I forgot what I had going on. I had watched the majority of that match, and I
Yeah.
think it was starting the fourth set. And
Okay.
I must have had to leave or go someplace. And I was like, oh, Gael's going to lose this. So
Oh,
anyway, he
right,
fought
right.
hard. And wherever I was at somebody's restaurant or whatever. I looked down and checked the scores, and I saw that he had won.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, what?
And Bryce, the fifth set was bonkers because he was down and out. He had him like even though he got to the fifth set, he had him down like 4-love. And Gael scrapped and fought his way back. And it was just a ridiculously tremendous effort on his part. It was phenomenal. It was just one of those matches where you just got chills at the end. We're like, I cannot believe he actually won this match. It was insane, bro.
And
Insane.
even though he lost in the next, well, he didn't really lose. He had to
Yeah, you had
pull
to
out for
retire.
the
Right.
next round.
Yeah.
That first round win had to give him some major confidence.
You would hope so, because again, he came back a few months, maybe a month or so ago, and he just kind of been getting stole on actually. And so for him to be able to get in front of his country, and we know this, Gael always flourishes in front of fans and crowds, especially the Parisians. That's his home. I mean, so it didn't surprise me that he found that extra whatever gear to be able to get through that match. But it was just incredible to see, man.
It
Incredible.
was.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was.
So yeah, got to give a shout out to Gael Monfils and Svitolina. Jim's life is strong, and they getting it done with baby Sky. There you go.
Yes. So I have a question for you, good sir.
Yeah, buddy.
What did you think about the controversy with the French crowd in that Taylor Fritz match?
so so it was spicy, wasn't it though? It was spicy.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
spicy, Bryce. Yeah, and Taylor's comments at the end had me rolling. He was just kind of like, "Oh, y'all was cheering for me so hard. I just had to fight because y'all was cheering for me so good." I was like, "You wrong," because half the folk can't even understand what you said.
Right.
But yeah, it did get spicy. But Bryce, you know how it goes. I mean, that is the French crowd. They always kind of are looking to whistle and boo, and even when they don't fully understand, they just ready to get their boo on. So we've been seeing that a lot with anytime someone from Ukraine plays someone from Russia. Very unfortunate we saw that in the match between Svitolina and Kazakina, because
Mhm.
Kazakina to me is just a wonderful young lady. And even after the match, of course they're going by this whole we're not shaking hands, but Kazakina looked over to Svitolina, kind of gave her the thumbs up, and she even got booed walking off the court. So I was just like, that doesn't feel right to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's disappointing. Because again, as we talked about in the previous episode, they can't control that. They don't, it's not like they are the ones actually on the front line doing this. This is their president, and so it's kind of you. I don't know. For me, I just don't feel like that's really cool.
Right. Right. There was
Yeah,
some.
but I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but yeah, go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead. No, you're great.
No, I was just gonna just to finish out what you were saying just about Taylor Fritz. I mean, he played a great match. It was Reconnect, who was French.
Hmm.
Yeah, he got booed, but at the same time, in that particular instance, you're in France, you're playing a Frenchman. It's
Hmm.
kind of like Davis Cup. You should expect that. The old Davis Cup, I should say, whenever,
Right.
countries host it. So Taylor should be, he should, he should have been prepared for that. And he shouldn't have honestly let it get that far underneath his skin. But at the same time, I liked how he responded though, because he was like in your face, basically,
Right.
and I appreciate that as well, because it's like, yeah, if they giving it to you, go and give it back to them. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
that was my position on it. What did you think about all of it?
Uh, you know, I'm a little bit on the side of let the crowd do what the crowd wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
These
Mm-hmm.
these players are well compensated to play in these type of environments, and you go to any other sport, basketball, football,
Right.
they're allowed. The fan is allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I draw the line if they start throwing things on a court or
Yes.
something, but
Yes.
verbally, and as long as they're not, you know, shouting out during the middle of the point or something like that. But
Mhm.
you know what? It's not that big of a deal, I think. I think we sometimes act like the tennis players are so fragile, right? They can't
Right.
they can't hit a ball unless it's perfectly silent. Knowing a lot of them grew up playing tennis on them courts right next to the expressway. You
Right.
know, you know what I'm saying? But now all of a sudden they can't have no noise. You know,
Right.
I I
Right.
I, I just think that's a little over the top anyway. So
I would have to agree with you there, my friend, for sure. Oh man. So Bryce, how about we get to some of these lies that we told on the women's side of this draw?
gotcha. Gotcha.
Oh man. I mean, talk about decimated. I looked at my quarterfinalists that I picked. Bryce, I picked 3 out of 8.
Ooh, I may not be far off. I picked. Ooh, one, two. I'm right there with you. I picked 3 out of 8.
Oh, did you have to? Which 3 did you have?
So I have Swiatek,
Mm-hmm.
I have Jabeur,
Yep.
and I have Sabalenka.
Ah, gotcha. And I have Iga, and I had to pat myself on the back for this one. I have Muhova, and
Yes.
I was very, very happy. And yeah, I'll go in my spill on that in a minute. But yes, and I have Sabalenka. So
Okay.
yeah, those are the 3 that I have.
So neither one of us believed that golf was gonna get there. I said Cooter, you said Madison Keys. We went to
Right.
K's, and it was really
Both
it
wrong.
really was a G thing, baby. Shout out Dr. Dre. And then
Yes.
we both, I think, had Rabakina, but she got ill, so we couldn't predict that,
Right.
right?
That is true. That's
Right.
exactly right. Can't predict
So
that.
right. So her dad Maya comes through.
Hmm.
Um, I did have Jabeur. I think you had called Vekic.
Beckett, right, right.
And then I picked Benchich, which I'm not going to do anymore. Uh, and you did pick Mahova, as you stated.
Yeah.
Once again, we went with the P's, but we picked the wrong P because I picked Potapova, you picked
Yep.
Pagula, and it was
Yep.
Pavlyuchenkova that came through. So at least we
Alphabet
had the
soup.
right letter.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes.
had
We
the
had the
right
right
letter that
letter.
time.
Yes.
And I think we both had Ostapenko, but did
Correct.
not see Svitolina coming through.
No, no.
Uh, and then we both had Sab, Big Sab.
Yes. Big Sab in the house. So it's still shaping up to really be a good little finish though, I have to say. I am not looking forward to seeing the Iga Coco match. I'm just gonna put that out there real quick, real early,
Yeah.
because as much as I appreciate Coco for fighting this hard to get to this phase,
Yep.
and that's what it is. Coco has fight, and she knows how to scrap. She knows how to kind of work her way out of situations, and she did just that. And I'm very, very proud of that young lady. Unfortunately, if you are not on your 100% game and you have
Mm-hmm.
holes, Ego gonna eat you up. Ego gonna eat you up, and we've seen it in the past. So unfortunately, I'm just not looking forward to seeing the Iga Coco match because I have a feeling the bakery is going to be open.
Oh yeah, because let me tell you what, Iga can run around her backhand much easier than Coco can run around her forehand.
Absolutely right. Exactly.
And that
Exactly.
is the summary of the show. I'm sure. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. It's just going
Yes.
to be running around hitting forehands, and she's going to be hitting those forehands to Coco's forehand, and Coco going to be shankakulous
Yeah.
on that forehand, and that's just the way it's going to go.
Yeah, yeah, it's very, very unfortunate, but yeah, I'm definitely looking at Iga coming through there. How about that other quarter though, Bryce? What are you looking like as far as that particular matchup?
Well, I'm thinking since this is the first time her dad Maya has gotten this far in a major,
Mhm.
and she's never beaten Jabeur before.
Right.
Um, I'm gonna ride with Jabeur.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you because I think my hesitation about getting behind Jabeur was her form. Was she really healthy and in the right form? Jabeur looked good. She looks
She
really
does.
good. She's been handling up on women, quite honestly.
Yes.
So I'm very interested to see what a potential Swiatek Jabeur match looks like.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, because that's of course what I think the semi will be up top.
Right. And although I'm sticking with my pick of Swiatek getting to the finals,
Hmm.
I would not be brokenhearted if Jabeur made it.
Right, right, absolutely, absolutely, agree completely, my man.
So on to the bottom.
Yes.
So let's talk about your prediction of Muhova making it to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, she seemed to be on a really, really good, a good run coming into this clay court season and into Roland Garros. And again, just kind of felt like with what we've seen in the past from Sakari, that her game just would not hold up, nor would her mental.
Mm-mm.
And it didn't. Excuse me, and it did not. She ended up going out in straight sets. And again, Muhova to me, Bryce, and this is, we can definitely talk about this either another day or even on our IG live, but I honestly feel like Muhova is shaping herself to be the next Barty. I really do.
Mm.
Because she has that variety. She likes to slice. She likes to come in, loves being at the net. I really feel like she can get her game there. And in truth, she has a better backhand than Barty did.
Okay.
So I am very interested to see how far this young lady can go because I am really, really impressed with her game.
So how do you think she matches up against Pavlyuchenkova in that quarter?
I am going to call Muhova actually. I didn't call
Okay.
her before only because I was thinking, of course, this is just Pagula. Hopefully she's going to, step up and break out. And unfortunately that didn't happen. At least Mertens was like, nah, sis, ain't nobody scared of you. Um, I mean, open the bakery on the first set. So I do feel like with Muhova's game, she has a big enough game to handle Pavlyuchenkova, and I believe her net game is going to get her over the finish line. So I'm actually picking her to make it to the semis.
I agree with you. Um, I wanna kind of go back to the Pagula situation.
Yeah, let's
Um,
talk.
yeah, because like you said, Mertens opened up a can
Woo.
in the first round, and you know how we've talked about certain players in the past, and we've said, you know what? Yes, they've done very well, and we have these expectations for them, but in all honesty, they may have been, overachieving.
Right, right.
I must say that's what I feel a little bit with Pagula and like having made it to number 3 in the world.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
think, I think Pagula is legitimately a top 10 player. I think
Yes.
she is like a 7 to 10
Hmm.
top 10
Hmm.
player.
Right.
I think there's been a little overachievement there, which to her credit,
Yeah.
got her there.
Yep.
But when I think of, if I had to go to battle with another planet and take my 3 best women from
Yeah.
Earth,
Yeah.
I'm not sure Pagula's getting on the spaceship.
No, no. Unfortunately, I don't think that she is either. Again, very consistent, very, strong. No major gaps anywhere that we can see. But again, it's just finding that overall strength and that mental fortitude to make it through on the back end that we just have not seen. And like you said, I think it could potentially be one of those, she's actually reached her ceiling and exceeded it. We just didn't realize it and or recognize. Because I've said that about Svitolina on many
Right.
occasions. I
Exactly.
think she's a very strong, again, no holes, mentally strong. But again, I don't know that I would, like you said, if I have to pick my top three, I don't think she's gonna make that squad.
No, no.
Yeah,
And actually, I think Pagula and Svitolina are very similar players.
I agree. Completely agree. Yep. I agree. I think right now Svitolina has had a very, very good draw, and the
Hmm.
fact that she is playing for Sky, she's playing for something, and I
Yep.
think that that's that fortitude that's coming through with her because she knows how to fight, she knows how to scrap, and again, I feel like she's done a very good job to this point, but she's about to face Big Sam.
Right. And so cue the boys to men because you know I see, and in all honesty, I want Svitolina to win. I like that
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
the tennis brain is like, boy, are you crazy? No, you know, I don't see it happening. Like it was funny, you know, our good friend David, right? We
Yes.
were watching the Sloane Stevens Sabalenka match,
Yeah. Uh huh.
and our friend David was getting all hyped, like, oh, Sloane, this might. I was like, no, she might be getting some games at this moment, but no.
But what I will say to you about that though, Bryce, is we got to give a shout out to Sloan. She actually, in my opinion, really played a really good Roland Garros. She really did.
Oh
I,
yes, she did. She
yeah,
she far exceeded what I thought she was gonna do.
right.
Um,
Yeah, and played Sabalenka strong. You know, 7-6, 6-4 is not a that's you know that's a good battle. That's a very good battle.
it was a good battle. I just felt like the end result was never in doubt.
I have to say I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah. I
You
felt
know,
like again at where Sab is right now versus where Sloan is. You know, to me there was no doubt. But could Sloan reach that level again? At least it gave me an indication that if she continues to put in the hard work and the hard yards, she could potentially get back to that 2017, 2018 form.
right? And what I want to highlight for you is the growth in Big Sap because
Yes.
back in the day, you know, a comeback like Sloan had could have been tragedy for Big Sap.
Yep. I agree. Yep, I completely agree. Yeah, she's come a long way, Bryce. I mean, I am so very proud of her, and you know, with all of that said, this next matchup, it doesn't concern me as far as her winning, but the dynamics of it, unfortunately, does, of course, because she's Belarusian,
Yeah,
Svitolina's Ukrainian, so you know there's going to be all of that drama surrounding it. And I just don't, especially Big Sap, because she's just such a nice young lady, and she just really doesn't mean anybody any harm. She's silly, she's fun, and I just feel like that's going to be a bit of a, you know, a downer
now I
for
have a
that one.
question for you then.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
and maybe this is me making up stories in my mind,
Hmm.
but I understand kind of like the beef and the drama a little bit when you have, you know, Ukraine versus Russian or Belarusian, and you know, they're two players that probably don't know each other very well,
Right,
right?
right.
But in my mind, just kind of like with the Kasatkina Svitolina
Hmm.
type thing,
Hmm. Yeah.
um, that Svitolina and Sabalenka, I think, know each other very well.
Yeah, they
And
should.
so
Yeah.
right. So I'm assuming, like, granted, they won't shake hands, but in my mind, and I could be wrong here, but in my mind, it's not as contentious, right?
Right. I agree with you. I don't think between them it'll be contentious, but yeah, that word. But but I do think though that again it goes back to the crowd not fully understanding. And that's
Correct.
where I get a little bit nervous on what are they going to do and are they going to be booing? Because to me, neither one of these ladies should ever be booed because they're just
Right.
wonderful ladies. And so that's where I'm just a little bit like, I really hope the folks that attend that match understand the backstory, understand what's going on, and treat it as such. You know what I mean? And just
Right.
respect the competition.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So with that said, Bryce, so we talked about kind of the top. Who are you looking for as far as your bottom half semis?
But bottom half semis, I have Muhova and
Okay.
I have Sabalenka,
Okay.
and I'm not changing my original prediction that Swiatek meets Sabalenka in the finals and that Swiatek wins.
Gotcha. Yeah, I of course had Rybakina taking out Iga in the semis, but of course that's not going to be possible. So Iga, of course, I have going to the final, and I'm like you said, I'm going to stick with my prediction because I actually did pick Sabalenka to win the whole thing. So
Hmm.
we'll at least hopefully we'll it'll be one of those two that actually
Right.
makes it in there.
Hopefully, we get that final so that one of us can be right.
Exactly. Bring some credibility, some credence to Brothers on Tennis.
Exactly. That's awesome.
Yes, sir. Now the men's side, Bryce, has
Mm,
like we said, much cleaner, much cleaner.
yes. So I called of the quarterfinalist. Um, I call 6 of the 8.
Same with me. I had 6 of the 8.
The two that I didn't have is I didn't have Zverev because I had center
Mm-hmm.
coming through there, and and I had Medvedev, um,
Yeah, me
and
and you both.
and I did not have Echeverry. Matter of fact, I want to meet who had Echeverry in the quarterfinals.
Yes, I would like to meet you and shake your hand because quietly, and this is another person we should give a shout out to because quietly, Echeverry has been beating folks down. He has not lost a
Yes,
set yet.
yes,
I
and
mean, come on.
quietly, if you've been following the last couple of months,
Mm-hmm.
he's been playing really well. This is not some fluke.
Yes, this is not a fluke. Exactly. He's doing really strong things on that red clay. That is for sure. So yeah, shout out Etcheberry. You friend. It's going to be interesting to see him going against Zverev though. I just feel like Zverev is playing kind of close to that level he was playing last year before he got hurt. He's playing
Hmm.
some good tennis, man. It's real good tennis.
Yeah, just like when you're watching Big Brother and they're sitting down and they know the inevitable and they're crying in the diary room and they're like, "I'm going home." That's Echeverry right
That's
there.
Etcheberry.
Right. You going
That's right.
home?
But you made a quarter, so
Yes.
congratulations. That's
You go.
excellent.
You have a good steak dinner on that check.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
So since we're starting at the bottom,
Yeah.
so um, I am like you. It sounds like picking Zverev to make it to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I still have. Sorry, I didn't mean final. The semifinals.
The semifinals, yeah. Yeah.
And meeting him in the semifinals, I still have Rude. I have
Hey,
Rude coming over Runa.
right. And of course, I had Runa versus Medvedev, so I'm thinking that's going to be a Runa Zverev on my side. So,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
And then up north,
You.
uh, no changes, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, no changes. And that was the other one that I didn't pick right was of course I had the Russians. I had Medvedev and I had Rublev instead of Hachinov. I picked the wrong
Oh,
Russian because I had Karen and Rublev battling in the round of 16 and I picked Rublev when in fact I should have gone with Karen.
gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. But it still don't change anything. Novak's gonna beat him though.
Right, yeah, right. I have Novak coming over Hachinov. I have Alcaraz coming over Tsitsipas, and so Alcaraz versus Djokovic, Rude versus Medvedev for me, and then for you, Alcaraz versus Djokovic, and Runa versus Zverev.
Right, right, right. Yeah, man. So that is our semis. I'm pretty sure you're sticking with yours all the way through, right? Because you had Alcaraz versus Medvedev. Is that who you had?
Yeah, and I replaced Medvedev with Zverev.
It was Zverev. Okay, okay. I'm assuming you're still picking Alcaraz, of course.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I was Alcaraz Medvedev, and I went with Medvedev. So yeah, my draw completely blew up after the first round. So I think for me, um, it. I tell you what.
Uh-oh.
No, I am going to go with you 100% and still pick Alcaraz in the final, and I'm going to pick him as the winner. But who I actually have him, or I think he's going to end up playing, I think he's going to play Runa. I think,
Okay.
weirdly enough, I feel like Runa is going to be able to. That's a clever young man, dude. I mean, he's kind of got that sneaky, like, you know, I don't know what it is about him, but I just feel like he is proving more and more to me that he really has a very, very strong mental and can make it through. Because again, he really should have lost to Cerundolo
He
to me.
really should have. Yeah.
I mean, and for whatever reason, I don't know how the boy did it, but he pulled it out, and I was just like, and he just keeps doing it. And I'm just like, I feel like I'm underestimating him in that regard. So I'm gonna put some a couple coins behind it this time around, and I'm actually gonna pick him to make it to the final. And I think it's gonna be the new big three, as he wants to term it, to call it Alcaraz versus Runa. But I do feel like Alcaraz is going to win ultimately the whole thing.
I do too. And
Yeah.
you know what? As long as Alcaraz beats Djokovic, I'm good.
Exactly. At that point, I'm good.
I'm good. You did your job, you good and faithful servant. Yes. Are
I
you
know
kidding
that's
me?
right. Yes, you did
Oh,
your job.
oh
But I
my
tell you
goodness.
what, Bryce, really quick. Not that again. I think he's gonna go home. But shout out to Karen Hatchinoff
Yes.
for we talk about all the folks. He to me is really getting his game back right. And unfortunately for Rublev, I have a feeling he about to bounce back over him in the rankings,
That's
rather. Yeah, I
yeah.
really do. I think that he's going to climb over Rublev. I don't think he's gonna catch Medi. In fact, I know he's not gonna catch Medi.
No.
But I do feel like as it relates to the ranking of the Russians, how it used to be Medvedev, Rublev, and then Khachanov.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Khachanov was like, nah, sir, you in my spot. You in my spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he gets it done at the slams. That's the one thing that you cannot take away from Karen Khachanov. He's been doing the thing in the slams. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So in any case.
Well, I mean, it's been entertaining thus far, and we are lined up to have a really good second week. So,
Yes. Yes,
I
we
am
are.
I am glued in for this
Absolutely.
ride.
Brother, absolutely. We got 1 week left. It's going to be some really, really fun, awesome, tennis that we'll see. And yeah, very much excited. And Bryce, once again, though, let's not forget, and all the family members, do not forget, if you need legal representation, we want you to look up the law offices of Paul S. Haberman. Once again, he specializes in sports related law, but covers a gamut of areas connected to it, from talent agreements to royalty disputes to medical malpractice or negligence to photography agreements to podcast agreements.
Podcast agreement. I got his card in my back pocket.
Say it, man.
But
Oh.
seriously, we're just joking about the podcast agreements, but kind of, sort of, not really. Whatever you need, Paul S. Haberman is your guy. Call 201-564-0590 for a consultation. Again, that's 201-564-0590. And one more time for the good folks in the back, 201-564-0590. Let Paul fight for you both in and out of the ring. So, Isaac, hey, we will be glued into this tennis for this week. We'll be back to talk to the folks next week. Hopefully, we didn't tell as many lies this week as we told last week.
Right?
uh, and but we are on to a good thing here with this 2023 Roland Garros tournament. Any final words that you have?
No, my friend. I just have been enjoying myself, and we just want to always thank you, our listeners, for just supporting us, and get the word out. If you find some folks that are into tennis and they have not heard of Brothers on Tennis, give us a shout out. We would greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off and head on over to our IG Live. This has been your boy Bryce.
And this is your boy Isaac.
And we are Brothers on Tennis. Everyone, stay safe.